following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. It's Reaction Monday on Main Street Sports. Today on the program, Zach Womble, Sumner County Sports, will be joining us to get us up to date on what's happening in high school basketball tournament action. Also, reaction to the Lady Vols and South Carolina, a heavyweight tilt on Sunday. Chris Lee, Southeastern14.com, will be joining us as well. And oh yeah, the Super Bowl racing, the Daytona 500. Rookie with the win. Bubba coming in second. Reaction to that and much more. Now to the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton. Here's the Sundrop kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Reaction Monday it is, and man, what a weekend in sports it was. I just want to, I want y'all to know that for a very extended moment yesterday, I thought Bubba won.
I did too. And
I may or may not have scared my child screaming that Bubba won. So much so that she was standing by her crib and fell down on her butt and hit her head on the crib. I felt bad for her. But like I was genuinely like I was shocked because I thought he has no entire right fender. He's not going to win. So the fact that he got even close, I was so excited. But yeah, what a race it was. We'll get into that a little bit later, and so much more. Man, what a wild weekend. You think Wednesdays are wild and wacky? It's fixing to get crazy. So anyway, let's dive in because we've got a very long set of scores and schedule. It's not that long, but it's long. So plenty to get into on today's rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Let's do it.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, providing a Christ-centered college prep education at an affordable cost. Call 931-388-5731 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule an appointment for a tour today.
In District 8 3A semifinal action, there we go. Page defeated Lawrence County 54-44 on Friday. Also in the District 10 2A semifinals, it was Loretto's boys with a 62-44 win over Giles County. Summertown with an 86-52 win over Lewis County. Grayson Burleson with half of Summertown's
You almost
points.
did not say Burleson. You almost went a little bit farther back in the.
There's no telling where I was going. Grayson Burleson with 43 points in that win for the Eagles. In 10-1A semifinal action, Richland with a 56-53 over Wayne County. Santa Fe defeats Culleoka 73-40.
And those are all boys scores. These are also boys scores in 12-4A semifinals. It was Ravenwood 55, Independence 53, Columbus.
In double overtime.
It was double overtime. That was a crazy game. And Ravenwood had a heck of a tournament. The coaches over there probably feeling it a little bit. Had the heart race. Columbia Central won by 10, but it was a lot closer than the 57-47 final score against Summit. In consolation action, it was Independence 70, Summit 64, third place. And in the championship game, like I said, Ravenwood had a heck of a tournament, falling by 2 points to Columbia Central 56-54 in that title game.
In girls 8-3A semifinal action, Lawrence County with a 39-34 win over Tullahoma. In District 10-2A semifinals, Loretto 69, Lewis County 14, Summertown 69, Giles County 37. In the District 12-4A semifinals, it was Ravenwood defeating Independence 61-37 and Summit with the 41-38 win over Columbia Central.
In the consolation game, Columbia Central got the 66-47 win over Independence. And in the championship, Summit fell to Ravenwood 49-43. In the consolation game for District 10 1A, it was Richland 31 and Santa Fe 26.
25.
Was it 25?
Actually,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. In NCAA men's basketball action over the weekend, number 23, Arkansas at Bud Walton with a 56-48. Oh.
Look, man.
Arkansas defeated 16th ranked Tennessee 56-48 on Saturday. Also, Vanderbilt with a 72-67 senior night win over Texas A&M. In OVC play, Tennessee State 63, EIU 49. MTSU stays hot with an 87-79 win over Florida Atlantic. Belmont defeats Southern Illinois of Edwardsville 73-62. It's Tennessee Tech 73, Austin P 69, and in ASUN action, Lipscomb 75, North Alabama 72.
Women's action, Eastern Illinois down Tennessee State 72-61. Austin P with a 71-61 win over Tennessee Tech. Belmont down SIU Edwardsville 88-50. In women's action, Conference USA, Middle Tennessee State with a dominant performance over FAU 72-49. In ASUN play, Lipscomb down North Alabama 70-59. And in the Southeastern Conference on Sunday, it was number 1 South Carolina 67. Number 12 Tennessee 53. Ole Miss 57. Vanderbilt 47 in SEC play. And in the NHL, Carolina down to Nashville 5-3 with an empty netter to seal it.
Today's high school basketball action, boys consolations and championships in 10-1A down at Wayne County. It's Culleoka and Wayne County in the consolation game at 6, followed by Santa Fe and Richland in the championship game at 7:30. 10-2A tournament action out at Mount Pleasant. The girls consolation has Giles County and Lewis County playing at 6, followed by the championship at 7:30 between Summertown and Loretta.
In 8-3A, it's Page and Tullahoma girls in the consolation game at 6 p.m. And in the championship, Lincoln County takes on Lawrence County at 7:30. Those are at Tullahoma, if I'm correct. And then in NCAA women's action, a makeup game, Texas El Paso is at Middle Tennessee State, 6 p.m. tip. That's going to do it for today's rundown. Told you it was long. So, top story real quick. I just want to mention this. A lot of folks saying that LeBron hit a game winner last night. Did anybody else see the game? How are you going to be up a point, but you make a shot at the end and that's the game winner?
Were they doing that Elam ending or whatever, where the first team to whatever wins?
It was 163-160, so I don't think so. I mean, unless 163 is a random number.
Maybe I think that's the way that goes. They come up with some random number after some point to dispel the free throw parade or whatever. Look it up. Google Elam ending, I think it is. But yeah, so if that was the case, then yeah, they were the first team to 163. I did not watch the game to answer your question.
I didn't either. Everybody keeps saying game winner, and I'm like, how is that possible? I don't know. Because again, I don't care. I tried to watch the dunk contest. It was trash. So anyway, a lot to get to. Let's talk to Zach Womble, Sumner County sports on the other side of the break. We'll talk about a lot of the high school hoops action up north. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We are live from the Lee Company studio and glad to have you with us here on Reaction Monday as we get all the reactions from the weekend of sports. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you are not following us on Twitter at MS_sports today, at Mo Patton _sports, and at Chris Yao 14, at JPPSEC. I love how that rhymes. It works out really well.
I'm sure he intended it that way.
Got a lot to get to here as the region tournaments start to take shape in high school hoops action. I don't think it's quite set in Sumner County yet, which means let's find out what it's looking like up there. And to do that, we have on the line with us here, Main Street Preps, Zach Womble. Zach, what's going on, man?
Fellas, how are you doing today? I'm doing good up here, all the way up here in Hendersonville. It's clouds are starting to roll in, but it's been a pretty nice day. It's been a pretty relaxed day. Just getting ready for tonight's consolation of finals for District 9 4A. That's going to be played at Station Camp High School. Hope you boys are doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. Lucky you get the region tournament in your backyard. So that's cool.
It is. Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's going to be the semifinals and finals are going to be at Hendersonville High School after the TSSAA informed Station Camp that their gym was just not big enough to host a region tournament with these new classifications. I think they missed the capacity by just north of 100 people. But yeah, they were supposed to host both the district and the region tournament. Instead, they're getting just the district tournament, the District 10 4A tournament. That is, of course, as you know, quarterfinal games in the region are played at the higher seed, and then, like I said earlier, the semifinals and finals action will move over to Hendersonville High School. So don't have to drive too far to see some region finals basketball.
It's always good. We're really interested in this particular region because it is the cross region for sub-state for the folks down here in Williamson County and in southern Middle Tennessee. Obviously, Columbia is in the cross region there. So obviously, we all know about Beach. They're undefeated. They are in the championship game. It's this Bucks team is as good as anybody in the state. They're number one, have been all year. What's the other team to look for in the district tonight, the championship game, and in that region, the cross region with I know Lebanon's in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we can start off with the boys since you mentioned them. As you just mentioned, Beach is undefeated, 30-0. They're playing as good of basketball as anyone in the state. I see the number one ranking, and obviously you would agree with it. Does that make them the best team in the state, or the team that's probably going to cut down the net? I don't know. That's still to be determined. I think you got a guy in Brendan Miller who plays for Cane Ridge that will probably have something to say before it's all said and done. But outside of Beach, I really like this Gallatin basketball team. Prior to Christmas break, they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. Their offense was putrid. They couldn't figure it out on that end of the floor. But the one thing that they always had going for them was their defensive intensity. And if you ever covered Bobby Luna or no Bobby Luna, the Gallatin boys basketball coach, you will know that's exactly what he does. I mean, you don't get to 550 career plus victories on accident, being bad at your job. So he has got this team always playing at a high level on the defensive end of the floor. But what has happened since the turn of the new year is just a rejuvenation on the offensive end. They decided to move A.J. Davis to the bench, come off, be their sixth man, and that's really catapulted their offense. They've really picked it up and found a new gear on that end of the floor since January started. And so they're going to play Beach Tuesday night in the district championship after playing them twice during the regular season. The first time at Beach, they lost by 20. And the second time they lost a heartbreaker double overtime to the Bucks. But you know what? They have all the confidence in the world going into tomorrow night's game, and they should have confidence. I mean, Cade Martin just hit 1,000 points for his career on Saturday, and so he's playing really, really well as a senior guard. Cannon Hill can get hot. He's a streaky shooter, and so when he's hitting, he's hitting and adds that extra piece to their offense, that long-range ball. So I would say definitely Beach and Gallatin are two teams to look out for if either of them make the sub-state. And then conversely in the region, I think you have to look at Lebanon, right? Led by Jared Hall, a guy that, his talents are coveted by. I mean, you pick a school, throw a dart at the map, and I guarantee you that school wants Jared Hall a part of their team. So I think you can't overlook the Blue Devils at all. And so, those would probably be the three teams on the boys' side that I would really look at if you're your district or your region, and you're just trying to map out who could be a threat in that sub-state round. And on the girls' side, I really think it lies in District 9 3A this year. Listen, I know Beach is undefeated in league play. They were 10-0 during the regular season. They've got a girl by the name of Bree Ellis that can go out and get you 30. She's done so time and time again. She's been my player of the week several times this year, and she's just a really good basketball player. But I think the two best teams, honestly, coming out of that region are going to be Cookeville and Lebanon. Obviously, I've only seen Cookeville once this year when they came to station camp. I've only seen Lebanon once this year as well. Of course, led by Corey Barrett, but know a little bit about them. Cookeville, they are just very, what's the word? They're honed in on what they do. They know what they do well, and they stick to it. If they've got to run a 5-minute offense to get a bucket that they need or want, that's exactly what they're going to do. So they're very disciplined, and they just play good defense and are good on that end of the floor. And then Lebanon, listen, they have championship pedigree, right? This is a team that's coming off of a Class 3A state championship last year where they lost to Blackman, but still they return a lot of players from that team. So I think just having that experience, having that pedigree will go a long way. So if you're looking at two teams to come out of that, the girls' side, I would say probably Cookeville and Lebanon. And the third team, if I had to throw any out there, would certainly be Beach.
Makes sense. I mean, this is this region is going to run through Cookeville. I mean, they're undefeated. They're just like the Beach boys, right? I mean, you've got two teams who are the boys' side, you've got Beach, the girls' side, you've got Cookeville, and they're the team that everybody's gunning for. What kind of a difference does that make in postseason play? Because now you can afford to lose one more time tonight and then one more time in the region's finals, and that's it.
Correct.
Yeah. So I asked Kip Brown about that. Just kind of before the district tournament started, I just wanted to know where their head was at. They were 29-0 going into Saturday's semifinal game, and I just said, Kip, just talk me through your mindset. What's the team thinking? Like, what's your thought process right now? He said, Zach, listen, we have 4 must-win games remaining on our schedule. Those, of course, being the region quarterfinals, the region finals, the region finals, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the finals, and of course the sub-state round. And that's kind of how they're viewing their season at this point. Obviously, I haven't been able to talk to Cookville, but I would think their motto and their mindset is kind of the same. Like, our season comes down to these 4 games. We can lose this district championship, and in theory, you can lose your region final game, but you want to win that game because you want to host a sub-state, right? You want to be at home. You want to be in the comfort of your own gym and, not leaving school at 1:30 in the afternoon or whatever it may be to get to your opponent's destination. And so, I thought it was key for him to say that is a must-win game for them. And so it really comes down to this next week in the region tournament. Their season, they're 30-0. And, I've got a story that I'm working on this week for Main Street Preps, just highlighting the best teams in Sumner County history. And I've just been looking at that 30-win mark as kind of the barrier. There's only been one team in Sumner County basketball history to ever finish a season undefeated, and that was in 1987 when the Gallatin girls cut down the net after a 34-0 season. Obviously, if Beach gets to a state tournament or wins a state tournament, they will have played more games. But nevertheless, it's not like undefeated seasons. You find them anywhere. They're very rare, and so I thought it was important for him just to highlight that exact fact. That, like, hey, yes, we do have 4 remaining must-win games, and this is a team that has a ton of confidence in itself. They feel no pressure. They know what they're capable of. Talking about the Beach Boys, of course. They know what their expectations are. Nothing that I say or the outsiders say or anyone else says is going to surprise them because they have the pressure from within themselves simply because they know exactly what they can accomplish. They know how good they are. And listen, the addition of Eli Rice and Tyler Moore from Station Camp has obviously been incredible for them. I think this still would have been a very good basketball team without them. I mean, they were coming off a sub-state appearance last season where they lost to Cane Ridge, and they were returning mostly everybody. But they were going to be looking for a point guard and a shooting guard. And perfectly enough, Tyler Moore and Eli Rice fit exactly what they needed. And it's just been a smooth transition. And I asked them, I said, guys, what has been the secret to your success knowing that there is only one basketball? Because people on the outside like me, like, who's going to take that critical, important shot when the game's on the line and the clock's ticking down? There's only one ball. The thing is, guys, these kids have been playing. I mean, you know what it's like. Kids play AAU ball. They know each other. They see each other outside of the season. And these guys have been playing AAU ball since they were in elementary school. So it's not like it was this hard transition for them. In fact, it was very seamless. And so I think you're kind of seeing that now. And I'm excited to see just how they play over the next week and a half and see if they can really win those 4 must-win games.
Speaking with Zach Womble here on Main Street Preps today. I'm sorry, Main Street Sports today. There we go. There it is. It's
Dude,
right
I'm
there.
feeling you.
It's right over
It
my
is
shoulder.
Monday.
Here's the thing. When Zach brought up that 1987 Gallatin girls team, it just kind of threw me off a little bit because I had to get in the Wayback Machine just a second. But Debbie Scott, Amy Lanham, Amy Lanham and Renee Adams were pretty much the core of that team. I saw that team play. Amy Lanham went on and played down at Alabama. Renee Adams went to Tennessee Tech, and Debbie Scott started at UT before finishing up at Western Kentucky. That was a whale of a girls basketball team. And in Sumner County, boys or girls, if you're being compared to that team, you got some stuff going on. And so it'll be interesting to see just how far this Beach team can go, Zach. But again, that's some pretty high cotton for them to be compared with right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, that was a very good basketball team. That was obviously before I was around here in Sumner County, but when that they are the bar. The best boys team since then was probably that 2016 team from Station Camp that finished 36-2, and then went on to the state Final Four before obviously ending their season. But I think everyone has kind of looks to that 1987 Gallatin girls basketball team for all that you just mentioned. I mean, your 3 core players went on to play high-level basketball. And so you're right. When you're comparing a team or anything to that, it's high praise. And so, like I said, they know it. They know what's at stake. You can't surprise them with anything. I talk to all the guys after games and coaches, and none of that surprises them. They're chasing a Beach record currently. 33 straight wins is the most that Beach has ever won in a season. That dates all the way back to 1992, I believe. which Kip Brown, the current head coach, was on that team, and I think they went to the state tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So, they want to at least win 3 more games to match that. And so it goes back to their 4 must-win games. If they can win the 4 must-win games, they set a record, get into the state tournament. And then, as you know, if you can just get into the dance, if you could just get to that glass house, give yourself a chance, you never know what's going to happen with a blind draw or what. So, I'm excited to see how it plays out, how it shakes out for them. But listen, as I was telling somebody else earlier, do not be surprised if Gallatin really makes a run at it, guys, because I'm telling you, when you got a team that plays defense the way that they do, I mean, listen, this is a team that stopped Asa Hardaway in the semifinal action. It's only 17 points. And you're like, well, 17, that's a good mark, right? Well, here's the thing, guys. He scored their first 10 points. So for the next 25 minutes of the game, he only scored 7. This is a team that locks down on the defensive end. And so when you can do that, defense, as you know, travel. I think they will have to travel. I would expect them to lose the district championship. I would also expect them, if they got to a region final, to lose that as well to Beach, meaning they would have to go on the road to sub-state. But again, defense travels. And if they can just start making baskets, that's a scary team. And, I've stopped doubting a Bobby Luna team back in 2019 when they hosted Will Pruitt-led Mount Juliet team, a Mount Juliet team that was probably one of the best teams in the state, and they should have been in the state tournament. But instead, they lost the region semifinal at Gallatin because Bobby Luna decided to lock down, play great defense, hold the basketball until they got their final shot or get a good shot at the rim and ended up upsetting them. And, I remember asking Bobby, Bobby, what's up? You were holding the ball. Because I'm a proponent of a shot clock in high school basketball. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm not a fan of teams holding the ball to the last minute of a half for a final shot. I mean, that's just not basketball, in my opinion. But, in that game in particular, he was just like, listen, guys, this is the number 1 ranked defense in the state. It's not like we were holding the ball. We just couldn't get a good shot off. So, I stopped doubting Bobby Luna and his teams back in 2019. And like I was telling a coworker of mine earlier, it would not surprise me in the least bit if you saw Gallatin in the sub-state giving themselves a chance to get to the state tournament as well.
Zach Womble, Main Street Preps, Full Court Press podcast. You can, when does that air live, JP? Do we know? I'm sure.
Yeah, it is Thursdays at noon. Thursdays at noon.
Thursdays at noon. You can watch it live, or you can find it on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Just search Full Court Press, Zach Womble. Zach Womble, MSP on Twitter. Go follow him. Check it out. Zach, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, Chris, one last thing before I let you go.
Yep.
The reason why it was classified as a game winner is because, in theory, it ended the game. You boys have a good one. I appreciate the time. You guys do an incredible job with Main Street Sports today. Thanks so much for the time.
When we can remember the names.
Sometimes.
Yeah, helps.
We'll be back. We'll continue talking hoops on the other side of the break. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. It's Reaction Monday here on Main Street Sports today. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton, JP Plant on the controls. Talk about reactions and split-second reactions, or, well, I don't know if it's a split second or not. I think we just need to dive in on this, because I don't think it was a split-second reaction what Juwan Howard did yesterday following the Wisconsin contest, where a slap was thrown. I won't call it a punch because it was open-handed.
It was open-handed from 6 feet away. I'd call it a swipe.
It was, I mean, he landed it,
Well,
but I don't think it was very hard.
It was not a punch. I mean, I think that whatever that was landed a little bit more lightly than a punch. You know, let me punch you, and then let me do that, and you tell me which one hurts more. But let me preface this by saying, didn't watch the game, don't know what led up to the post-game handshake line, have no idea, don't care. Haven't listened to the video. So, I mean, I've not heard the audio portion of it, so I don't know what was said.
I do.
But I'm just telling you, I've not heard it. I don't know. I'm just telling you that if I'm walking around, I'm not looking at you, I'm minding my own business, got my head down walking. You grab me by my elbow. I'm already hot about something. You know it when you grab my elbow. So all bets are off to me at that point. No matter what anybody wants to say about this or how they want to frame it, Greg Gard initiated this whole thing. And if Greg Gard doesn't grab Juwan Howard by his elbow, none of this happens.
This is what was said. I'm going to remember this
stuff.
All right. That's all he said. He said, I'm going to remember this as he's walking by. Now, if I said that to you, okay, remember it.
All right.
Scoreboard. Keep going. Okay.
Enough said. I mean, okay, you remember it, bro.
The physical altercation of Greg Gard grabbing Juwan Howard led to a verbal altercation between Greg Gard and Juwan Howard, in the middle of which several players and eventually assistant coaches and probably trainers and everybody else.
And I think I saw some officials in there, maybe. Yeah.
See, that's the officials need to be
should have been gone.
Gone.
Didn't have nothing to do with y'all.
But
let the cops deal with that.
let the cops sort the bodies.
Yeah, that's a little above y'all pay level at that point.
At that point, get the heck out of Dodge. But the physical altercation between Juwan Howard and an assistant coach from Wisconsin comes way after everything, including after said assistant coach comes from out of the frame like a bullet to the middle of the altercation and continues to yell at Juwan Howard while Juwan Howard is still yelling at Greg Gard.
So
this is the problem.
I'm not even talking to you, bro.
You need to hush. get your guy and go or whatever, but don't come at me and keep talking.
This is grown folks.
And eventually,
between Howard and Guard at that point,
right.
whatever they're doing is
bosses.
what they're doing, And what should have happened, really and truly, is Greg Guard should have turned around and told his assistant to get out of here.
That's right. Everybody. And at some point, the assistant coach who eventually gets oops upside the head put his hands on a player.
A Michigan player?
A Michigan player to his right. And that is the point in which I see Jawan's hand come across.
Well, and that's the thing. I think it's at best an unwritten rule and probably should be a written rule. You don't talk to other coaches, other teams' players. Certainly not to reprimand them. If you want to tell somebody good game or if you want to compliment somebody or something like that, that's one thing. But talk to other folks as players?
Two things. Stephen A. Smith, all these talking heads. I saw Jay Williams had the same comment. I've seen everybody. Greg Guard ought to be suspended for 2 games, and Juwan Howard ought to be suspended for the rest of the year. Flip it. If anybody deserves to be suspended for the rest of the year, it's Greg Guard because he started it all. I don't care if Michigan's pressing. Calling timeout is BS anyway. I don't care what Michigan's doing.
What was the final?
They were 17 points was
who won?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin won by 17?
Correct.
Okay.
So Michigan has their starters in against Wisconsin's bench players down 17 and they're pressing. Well, yeah, because they're down 17. But then you call timeout.
Wisconsin.
And then score? No.
There's speaking of unwritten rules. There's a few
That's one of them.
being violated there. But here's the thing: if Juwan Howard is suspended for the rest of the season, if I'm Juwan Howard, you've got my resignation letter on your desk tomorrow.
Yes,
Juwan Howard played 20 years in the NBA. He was an assistant coach for 6 after that.
He doesn't need this ish. He don't need to remember it. Because he can go to the house.
Period.
I didn't want this job.
Y'all ask me. Because as I recall, this was after Beeline left to go to the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, y'all needed me a lot more than I needed y'all. I was chilling in South Beach, minding my own. I can go back.
And why not at this point? I don't need this headache.
And they're talking about the fan base being down on him because they're 14-11. Y'all can have it.
Have it.
Good luck.
So anyway, to recap, we don't believe Juwan Howard is the problem here.
No, we don't.
And we may be the only ones who think that, and we'll say it out loud, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Juwan, go to the house, dude.
Go to the house.
Yeah.
You don't need this headache, bro. Wish I had that ability.
Instead, we'll be back after the break for halftime, right?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
All right, fellas. I just want y'all to know. One, Friday is Charlie's 1 year It's her birthday.
Oh my
She'll
goodness!
be 1 year
So-
old on
So
Friday.
One year.
what will we be doing? Are we just taking that day off and celebrating Charlie all day long?
We'll be
or
at
how does that work?
wrestling.
Wrestling?
We'll be at wrestling.
Is that wrestling?
No,
no.
Wrestling.
We will be at
Okay.
wrestling.
Wrestling.
You guys will be working.
That's correct. We will be. But
So will you.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. We will be there on location.
Saturday is her birthday party, and the theme is Donut Grow Up.
Let me guess. You did not come up with this, did you?
I did not. I think it was
Yeah.
on. I think it was on Etsy, and
Okay.
I created the invitations.
Yeah.
But
Well, I know you're infinity for puns,
yeah, that one was not me.
so that spoke to you, though, right?
It did. I was very excited. One of the donuts we will not be having though is a caramel cookie crunch bar donut filled with a Twix cookie bar. I'm not saying I don't want one. I'm just saying it's not on the list. But it is a bar shaped donut, kind of like an eclair, right?
Okay.
Filled with chocolate cream and a full size Twix bar dipped in chocolate icing, drizzled with dulce de leche. I can't say that word. Dulce de leche.
The leche.
Dolce
Sure.
de leche.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chocolate icing.
They don't have those down in Alabama.
I've never
Dolce
heard
de
of.
leche.
I've never heard
Yeah.
of dulce de leche, dude. I'm the guy who has a chicken biscuit, add cheese, take the biscuit apart, add gravy. That's my.
Which is not a bad move.
It's a great move.
Yeah,
Trust
you got to be sitting down at a table. To make that happen.
Deconstructing.
I did. It's a deconstructed
Deconstructed chicken biscuit.
chicken biscuit, and it was amazing.
Yeah, with gravy.
But I mean, Twix. I'm a fan of Twix, so I can see this being a thing. I'm cool with this.
I don't know if I want my donuts to crunch.
I can see that. I don't know, man. I don't like.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on there, and I mean,
I would try it.
I would try it. Sure.
I wouldn't go out of my way to go get it, but I would try it. Absolutely try it. None of that.
So that means we have to
Look it up.
get Mo to go get it because the closest Krispy Kreme is in Cool Springs.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Krispy Kreme. I tried to go on Valentine's Day.
Oh no, thank you.
It'll be a while before I go back.
We went the Saturday before. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it. Second half coming back. SEC hoops, Chris Lee, Daytona 500 reaction, all that and more coming back.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
It's the second half of Main Street Sports today on this Reaction Monday. Coming up, we've got Chris Lee with Southeastern14.com will be joining us. Also, reacting to Sunday's heavyweight tilt women's basketball, South Carolina and Tennessee, and the Daytona 500. Oh, yeah, that race happened yesterday as well. Beautiful weather and a photo finish. All that and more coming up. Back to the Lee Company studio now with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's the Sundrop kid from Alabama who has never had Dulce de Leche, Chris Yao.
Sheltered life.
Sheltered.
Is it though? I don't know. Just give me some Hershey's. I'm good. Guys, I didn't get a chance to watch Tennessee and Arkansas because I was busy Saturday. But I certainly saw all the tweets. And apparently some Southeastern Conference officials are struggling with the difference between a block and a charge, at least according to Vol Twitter.
Well, I didn't see tweets either because I was in a Williamson County Schools facility.
So you couldn't see anything.
Yeah. Couldn't see tweets, couldn't send tweets. So,
Yeah.
you know, it is the hardest call in college, in athletics. So I mean, I will say that.
It is. It's tough because you have to make a determination of when a guy got to a spot versus when one jumped. That being said, it's not always a charge, except apparently
When
in Bud's
UT's
Palace.
playing Arkansas.
So there's that. On top of that, did you see the video of the out of bounds call?
I've seen nothing.
Ball goes towards out of bounds. Arkansas player runs 2 steps out of bounds, jumps, throws the ball off Kennedy Chandler's leg.
2 steps out of it. He takes 2 steps
out of bounds, outside the boundary, jumps in the air, grabs the ball, throws it off Kennedy Chandler, goes out of bounds. They give
Arkansas
it to Arkansas
ball.
So
that's one of those where all you can do is laugh. Really, I mean, now let me ask you this, because again, didn't see the game. Obviously, it was an 8-point game or 10, depending on who you're listening to. How impactful were those?
If I don't have the confidence that I can go to the rim without getting a charge call, what am I going to do?
I'm not going to go to the rim.
I'm not going to go to the rim.
Yeah.
So you tell me how impactful it probably was.
I got you. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tennessee did not shoot the ball very well at all.
Mm-hmm.
It probably didn't matter.
And that's probably why they were going to the rim, because they weren't shooting the ball particularly well, but they weren't getting calls when they got there.
Exactly.
So.
And the ball that went out of bounds on Kennedy Chandler probably should have been a foul on the shot on Zakai Ziegler when he went up for the layup, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Ball goes off out of bounds area, and both of those calls go against Tennessee. That's the kind of thing that was happening all day Saturday. Now again, Tennessee shot like 4 of 22 from 3-point land. They're not going to win games shooting 4 of 22 from 3-point.
Very few teams are, to be fair.
Well, here's the thing. Arkansas didn't shoot well either. They hit 5 of 21. Only had 1 extra field goal. They had 1 more field goal and 1 more 3-point shot and hit 5 more free throws. That was the difference in the game. So that tells you the difference in the ball game was that Tennessee was unable to make shots when they needed to make shots. Now, the reason for that could be a host of different things. One of those reasons, you're on the road in the SEC.
And another of those reasons is I think Arkansas is better than they've gotten credit for at various points during this season. I think they were expected to be, a top 4 SEC team coming into the season. That's not always been the case, but from game to game, especially at Fayetteville, they're pretty dangerous.
Well, they've certainly improved throughout the year as well.
Mm-hmm.
And not just them. This may very well be the deepest SEC we've ever seen. Auburn goes to Florida, gets beat.
Auburn goes to Arkansas and gets beat.
Auburn goes to Arkansas and gets beat.
Vanderbilt goes to Arkansas and wins.
This is an absolutely this may be the deepest SEC men's basketball league we've ever seen. Outside of
this tournament in Tampa.
I know.
I was listening to a game last
that's
week
not
and
even
they
our
mentioned
footprint.
that, and I'm like,
not even in the footprint.
no, I mean, that's south of Gainesville. It's why?
What are we doing? And nobody wants to drive there either. Who wants to drive over that bridge? Nobody.
Well, I mean, imagine getting from Como to Tampa.
Well, they may not be going.
Well, they'll go. They just won't stay very long. Oh, you mean the fans?
Is it a 14 team?
Yeah, everybody goes.
Oh, I thought at one time it wasn't all 14 teams.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yes.
I just remember at one time, not everybody went. It was kind of like baseball, because doesn't baseball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at one time, not everybody went, but even if they do go now,
They may not be there.
they're
very
not staying there long.
Yeah.
So it's but you never know. I mean, from this tournament could end up being, LSU and Tennessee for all we know in the finals.
I mean, it
could literally be anybody.
Who would you rule out right now?
A&M, Georgia, Mizzou. That's it.
Ole Miss?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There are times where Ole Miss plays really well, but yeah, for the most part, they're
out.
probably not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And
maybe South Carolina.
Maybe South Carolina. Yep. That was.
Other than that,
there are 5 to 6 teams right now who could legitimately win the tournament.
And they're not all necessarily going to be in the top 4 seeds.
Well, obviously, if there's 6 teams, they're not going to be, right? So you're talking about Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, LSU,
Arkansas.
And Arkansas. Those 6 teams right there, any of those 6 could show up and be in the championship.
Now, I mean, it gets to be a long tournament if you're not one of those top 4 seeds.
It does.
But still, somebody gets on a roll and gets some confidence and somebody else gets beat, somebody does your dirty work for you a little bit, something like that. It's unfortunate this tournament's going to be in Tampa. It really is.
Anywhere else,
because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Darn near put it in Louisville before I'd put it in Tampa.
I mean, it's closer to more SEC schools in Louisville.
It's so random. Anyway,
they've been there before.
I know, but
and it wasn't good then either.
No, they make these contracts out so many years. Nashville is the primary home.
Yeah, women.
And that may be why that every 4th or 5th year it dumps out of Nashville for a year, comes back for 4 or 5, and this is one of those years it dumps out. And Tampa just happens to be.
Didn't they do St. Louis one year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that didn't go over very well either, did it?
No.
Yeah.
I remember when it was in the Georgia Dome and the roof fell in.
I was there.
Were you?
and let me tell you something.
I bet that was scary.
Yeah. From that night forward, I have never, ever, ever made fun of anybody that hears a tornado and says, it sounded like a train, because that's exactly
what it
sounded like.
Yeah, there's no question. No question.
Oh, wow.
I'm excited, man. That this SEC season is going to end very, very fun.
And here's the thing.
I'm pumped.
Here's your question. Is Tom Crean still going to be in it when it ends?
0 chance. They got him for cause now. Let's talk some Vandy baseball and maybe a little hoops. I mean, they did get a win.
Not just Vandy. Let's talk a little LSU hoops.
Everything.
I'm sorry, a little LSU baseball.
LSU baseball?
Yeah, maybe a little Auburn baseball. Because Chris Lee's got it all covered with Southeastern 14.
Yes, he does. So Chris Lee joins us on the other side of the break. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org, or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. .net. Welcome back in Reaction Monday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao Mopat and JP Plant reacting to all of the news from around the world of sports over the weekend. Tons of it. If you missed any part of today's show, including our thoughts on Juwan Howard, you're definitely going to want to hear that.
You know, I hesitate to say our thoughts on Juwan Howard. I'd prefer to say our thoughts on the Wisconsin-Michigan postgame situation.
Well, I mean, our thoughts on Juwan Howard are take your ball and go home because you don't need this headache.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. But plenty of thoughts to go around on the situation. So, yeah, that was in the first half. Go check it out. Right now, we want to talk about some local talent from around the baseball diamonds.
Plural.
Plenty of it, too.
Yeah, and I think we've got the right guy to do it with Chris Lee of Southeastern 14 joining us because in his Saturday recap of Friday night's action on the Diamonds across the Southeastern Conference, he name-checked both Chris McElvain and Blake Money, who, oh, by the way,
money.
both played at Summit High School. You know, I even talked to Chad Kirby over the weekend. It's like, dude, you got 2 Friday night starters, huh? He said, yeah, we probably should have been a little bit better.
They got beat by Farragut, man. What are you going to do?
But at any rate, you know, Chris Lee, Chris McElvain strikes out 10 in 4 innings against Oklahoma State. Doesn't get the decision in Vanderbilt's only win of that series. Blake Money strikes out 10 in 7 innings as LSU defeats Maine. Pretty nice starts for a couple of locals.
And boy, Williamson County alone has really produced some players. And if we're going to just pick in that general vicinity, you know, Zane Denton of Ravenwood is the starting third baseman for Alabama and one of the better ones in the country. But yeah, I thought McElvain, looked really good on Friday. Oklahoma State is, you know, maybe outside the SEC is as good a hitting lineup as you'll find. I thought Chris was really, really good with his fastball. You know, just with poise, all the things that you want in your number one starter. I think that was one that raised some eyebrows when Tim Corbin made that decision because they got Christian Little and Pat Riley and, you know, some kids that are number one pick conversation next year. A long way to go between there and then and there, but they're names that people know nationally. But I thought Chris really looked good again, and I think the decision justified itself once you saw it. I did not see Blake Money start, but LSU had 2 really good pitchers who were both gone, and then from there it dropped off a cliff more or less. And so that's a program that needed a guy to step up. Blake Money, I saw pitch in high school. He slimmed down, I think, about 40 pounds in high school to what he is now. And, you know, to see a guy go 7 innings, which if you looked across box scores across the country, you didn't see a lot of that. And I know it was Maine. It's not the best team they'll face all year, but that's a good start. Sometimes those can self-destruct on their own, regardless of the opponent. And so I think very encouraging outings for both those kids.
You know, and as you mentioned in this recap, the 7 innings kind of caught your attention there for the first game of the year, but the 79 pitches, I mean, he obviously was efficient in working through that 7 innings. So it's not quite as eye-catching as you might have thought. And then again, Chris, Cade Granzow made his debut for Auburn in the 3rd game of their series yesterday and apparently looked pretty good as well. So yeah, Williamson County continuing to show up on arguably the biggest stage in college baseball right now, the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, I had not caught that. Obviously, he was a 2-sport star there, and the kid got some attention in baseball. But Auburn had a really good pitching weekend. It was kind of out of the blue to me, and good to see him as a part of that.
You know, that's one of the things, again, plenty of Williamson County talent, but that's one of the things about the Southeastern Conference and here in Middle Tennessee specifically, Vanderbilt has elevated the talent level here in Middle Tennessee. I really believe that. We've talked about it with you, Chris, on this show, but you know, it's just kind of impressive how you can look around the SEC, not just at Tennessee and Vanderbilt, and see these guys really putting on, putting the work in and getting to the starting level in the field, on the bump, wherever it may be. You really have to look at Middle Tennessee and go, you know, who's next? It's a deep talent pool out here.
It really is. And you look around, Mount Juliet has sent several kids to Vandy, including Ethan Smith, who's now at Tennessee and had a nice outing for the Vols up in Knoxville in relief. Murfreesboro, of course, produced David Price and several other players. There's a lot of guys around here. If you want to go public school, of course, Mookie Betts went to Overton. Yeah, it's really neat to look across the landscape and see what kind of talent this area is putting out. You know, Robert Hassel, who got drafted a couple years ago, if you go a little south of where you guys are, Brian Weathers. There's a whole lot of guys that are pitching or hitting and playing big roles, whether it's college level or pro, and it's good to see.
One that's not pitching right now, Blake Tidwell, the draft eligible sophomore up at UT, who probably would have been their Friday night guy if not for some shoulder issues right now. What's the latest you're hearing on him, Chris?
You know, I have not checked back in on that in a couple of weeks, because what I heard at the time was that it was, and this is the exact phrase that someone used to me, it would be a Hail Mary if you pitched this year.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that.
Kind of that.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that significant. Yeah.
Back a little bit on Twitter this weekend, some Tennessee fans had said that the VolQuest folks had said that he was throwing now. But I mean, what does throwing mean? Does throwing mean you're going to be able to pitch in a few weeks? My understanding is it's a labrum issue, and they're going to try to avoid surgery and I think let it heal on its own. I need to dig into that a little bit more, but again, when the forecast was that grim, you know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just kind of stopped looking. But yeah, I hope for him he can pitch, not just for his pro future, but for a team that really, the Vols were great this weekend and gave about 3 runs to a pretty good Georgia Southern club. But I would still presume Blake Tidwell would fit right in on Friday night if he's healthy and available.
I feel pretty sure they'd rather have him than not.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Chris, besides UT, LSU, Vanderbilt, we talked a little bit about Auburn. Who else did you see this weekend? Whose results were you taken by?
I was a little surprised to see Auburn win 2 of 3. I guess that wasn't a shock. Seeing them beat Texas Tech was pretty interesting. That's a ranked team. Kansas State, okay, that's an okay Big 12 team, and Oklahoma, middle of the pack Big 12 team too. But to see Auburn pitch the way it pitched, I think they gave up 5 runs, something like that. That was, I don't want to use the word astonishing, but when they had a 5.25 ERA a year ago, to see them play 3 Power 5 teams like that and pitch that well, and granted, it was in a big league ballpark, which I'm sure didn't hurt at all. But that was something that caught my eye. Kentucky go to Jacksonville State. I know that's not one that's going to get in.
Hey,
a lot of runs.
Calm down. Don't be dissing Jacksonville State on these airwaves.
Sorry, I couldn't warn you quickly enough.
What I was going to say was they got to a regional last year, and I think they're in the mix to win the OVC. If you looked at the prognostications, I thought going and winning a game there, winning the series there was a good thing. Seeing Tennessee win the way it did caught my eye. I'm not shocked that the Vols swept the series, but to get it that decisively when you got the situation with their top 2 starting pitchers out, and when they turned over a lot of their lineup, a lot of really good hitters. In fact, 3/4 of that infield and the best 3/4 are now, I think, playing pro ball. That caught my eye. LSU scoring 51 runs in 24 innings was pretty remarkable. There's a lot of things. The disappointing thing is you wanted to see Vanderbilt and Mississippi State play better. Both of them lost their series, and State just looked awful the first 2 days, other than it pitched well on Friday, but they got 1 hit. Those were probably the things that stick out. I know I'm missing something. Arkansas would have liked to see win a little more decisively, and they lost the game in that series. But that's where the bar is, where 7 of the 14 teams swept their series, and yet you were wanting a little bit more.
Chris Lee was Southeastern 14 here with us on Main Street Sports today. You can find his work at southeastern14.com. Fantastic website to keep up with SEC action. And Chris, coming back to Vanderbilt again, dropped 2 of 3 visiting Oklahoma State, who is not a bad program. But like you said, you kind of wanted to see a little bit more, I'm sure, particularly out of Maldonado in that Saturday game.
Yeah, and let's start here, okay? Oklahoma State, I think, a national championship caliber team. Aaron Fitt, who I think is the best master writer out there, hands down, with college baseball, picked Oklahoma State to win the College World Series. They've got a bunch of guys coming back. They hit the transfer portal and really hit on some guys there. And so that's a team that was probably a little bit more experienced and a little bit more mature, and not that Vandy doesn't have some experience. But, Vanderbilt went toe-to-toe. I think it was 11 runs for each team over the weekend. Vanderbilt, had a little bit better numbers offensively in terms of on base and slugging. So maybe you could argue with a break Vandy wins the series, but they didn't. But I did think that their pitching, which frankly was a little bigger question to me than hitting, they got so much of that lineup coming back. I think you had to be encouraged if you're a Vanderbilt fan to see how they pitched this weekend. I think they struck out 45 and walked 11 against, again, what might be a top 5 lineup in America. Middle order didn't hit. It was plain and simple. Nolan and Young struggled. I think struck out 13 times and 21 at bat. And then Dominic Keegan was on again, off again. Seemed like the top 3 and the bottom 3 did a lot of work in that series, but they couldn't cash in with middle order when they needed it. That'll get better for them. I'm still a little concerned because Nolan didn't have a great year last year, and Young's not been the same guy since that shoulder injury. But I think they'll get better. And that pitching, you just didn't know exactly where it was going to come from, but you had 7 or 8 guys throw really well over the weekend, and then you'll probably see a Gage Bradley or a Devin Futrell or somebody like that the next couple of days that had to save some arms for 2 midweeks. And I'm curious to see what they get the next 2 days from the guys who didn't pitch. But I think what you wanted to see from them was some pitching depth, and I think they showed they've got it.
That's kind of, that's kind of where you have to hang your hat if you're going to win a College World Series. You have to have depth pitching, and Vanderbilt has it. And it's only going to get better as the season goes along. Were you surprised to see Nick Maldonado as named as a starter?
Yes and no. They like to give guys an opportunity to stretch out. I think they were experimenting with Tyler Brown with that a couple of years ago. Like, this is the experimental phase of the season. They do a lot of stuff in February, March, and April that they're not going to do in May, that they're not going to do in June. Mm-hmm. And so, to me, the biggest question mark I had leaving the weekend was the closer situation, because I don't think Thomas Schultz is a guy I think he can help them. I don't think he's got an out pitch, and I think that's really not a good quality when you're a closer. Maldonado's a guy who's been there and done that. He's got a slider or a cutter. They've called it different things. It's a monster pitch. Fastball's good enough. Got to change up too, I think. And, you need 3 if you're going to start games. But I think that eventually I wouldn't be shocked if he settles back into the closer's role, because he handled it so well a year ago. I mean, they got Patrick Riley out there waiting in the weeds, who came in out of the bullpen. And Riley, if the control's there, can certainly handle the starting role and not just handle it, but be an all-SEC type pitcher. So I suspect year's end, you're going to see Maldonado back in the pen, but I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it. And the guy that I watch is Grayson Moore, because I think he's got potentially closer type stuff. He just hasn't been asked to do it. And so that's a long, wandering answer to your question, but I think it depends on some things. And if it's me, I'm putting Maldonado back there, but they're going to tinker with stuff in the early couple of months like they always do, and just see where the pieces settle.
It's the best part about baseball. You can tinker with your lineup until you get the right one. As long as you're playing the best ball at the right time, it does not matter. Chris Lee of Southeastern14.com. Thanks, man, for taking some time with us. We appreciate it. As always, great insight, man.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right. When we come back, we will react to some additional sporting happenings, including the Daytona 500, a big surprise in high school hoops.
And we need to touch for a second on that 12 noon ball game yesterday over at Colonial Life Arena.
And, of course, Lady Vols in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid it, Mo.
Yeah, well,
I thought Tennessee gave them a good showing. So we'll talk more about
all things considered. Yeah, we'll get more into it.
We'll get to it on the other side of the break. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mornings on Main Street. What better way to start your morning every weekday than with all the latest news from around Middle Tennessee with Big Joe Dubin? No better way. Join Big Joe and Justin each weekday at 7 a.m. for the most up-to-date news and more from around the entire mid-state. It is Mornings on Main Street, 7 a.m. on all Main Street social media platforms. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today. It is the final segment of this Reaction Monday, and I'm looking forward to look back at this video because I don't know I don't guess people can see. We have some new lighting in the studio here, and it looks like more tripods, but it's actually less cluttered.
If you say so.
It is. I mean, it's after we took all the other stuff up, I was like, man, this is nice. This is nice.
Well, JP
ain't got roaches or nothing.
JP always tweaking things, keeping us
trying to make it, the best it can.
Yeah. He's got an eye for that stuff. Thank goodness.
We did have a lot. We had a lot of interesting times in here trying to get it going, though. We figured out that one remote controls everything, so you got to be careful what you're doing.
Oh goodness,
because you never know what that remote's gonna do.
Okay.
Oh man, but yeah, we mentioned this earlier. We probably want to mention it again. We will be on location Friday at the state Division I state wrestling tournament. Division II was this past weekend.
Correct. Yeah, we will be out at the Ag Expo in Franklin for the Class A, Class AA, and girls state wrestling tournaments. 16-person brackets in each of those starting on Thursday. And we've got an article up on the website at Main Street Murray addressing who will be going from our area. Columbia Central, Independence, Summit, and Spring Hill will all be represented in those fields this week. So check that out. And again, like you said, we will be on location on Friday. Looking forward to that.
I am too. Arena in Nashville. That is April
26th.
April 26th.
That's a Tuesday.
That day, We will be on location where?
At Bridgestone.
More specifically
at the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Yeah. Brad Willis and the folks up there are going to hook us up and take care of us. And we're going to get our pictures with a piece of metal, as a certain commissioner referred to it.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Commissioner of what?
Well,
there is no Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway.
So, yeah. So the trophy will be at Bridgestone from 4 to 8 on Tuesday, April 26th, in conjunction with a Predators game. I'm not sure who they're playing that day.
Come hang out with us.
Mhm.
You can
Tour the Hall of Fame.
Tour the Hall of Fame. Hang out with us. Get your picture taken with the trophy.
If you want to.
Go to a Preds game and then leave. Trust me, there's nothing else good that's going to happen down there. Good things do not happen. So
the trophy will also be at Hawkins Field on that Friday from 3:30 to 7:30. Again, that's around a Vanderbilt baseball game. And if you'll give me just a second, I'll tell you who they'll be playing.
It's cool that they're bringing it to Nashville for us. So,
well, I mean, especially with that Vanderbilt game. I mean, Kyle Wright threw out the first pitch. One game this weekend. Obviously, Dansby Swanson and the Braves Vanderbilt connections there. So that's pretty cool.
Did you get the?
I'm looking. I'm scrolling.
Scrolling. Keep those fingers scrolling.
It's the Texas A&M series,
Ooh.
which is actually it looks like that is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, actually.
That's unusual.
That series, yeah, but that game, the 29th, is when the trophy will be there, the Friday night. So
awesome. Well, as we said on the other side of the break, Tennessee Lady Vols put up a solid fight in a loss to the number 1 South Carolina Gamecocks, considering everything that they've dealt with, all of the injuries that they've got going on. Horston out, and I guess Ray Burrell's been out for.
Well, Ray Burrell, she played.
Okay.
But Kean Green has been out.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Just the fact that Kelly Harper's team has had to deal with all of these injuries, the fact that they were able to go on the road, and I mean, yeah, it's still a double-digit loss, but you don't feel so bad about it.
It's a double-digit loss to the number 1 team in the country, far and away.
But you held them to 58 points, and you got to feel good about that. I mean, I'm sorry, 67 points.
There we go. Yeah.
Never mind.
You got the men and the women's scores. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's okay.
You still feel good. I mean, 14-point loss on the road, number 1. Yes, this team is trending in the wrong direction, but it's not necessarily because of the talent level or anything else. It's just the fact that they've got a lot of players who contributing players who aren't playing.
Yeah. And why, you wonder, can they get those guys, or I'm sorry, those ladies back? Horston in particular, I think they said it was a fracture / dislocation of her elbow that she sustained, trying to get a loose ball in that Alabama game. So if she can get back, obviously they're better off. It's pretty much the heart and soul of that team right now. So that'll certainly be something to watch for UT over the next few weeks.
Yeah, they've got to have her. In other girls basketball in the high school level, big upset. Page goes down in the District 8 3A tournament semifinals. Now they'll still play in the consolation and they'll move on to the region tournament. But how bad do you feel if you are the team who has to play Page in that region tournament now?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the number 1 team in the state in 3A coming into your place in a region quarterfinal matchup. I mean, that's not what you're looking for right there. So,
no, it's not.
So either they're coming to the runner-up out of 7-3A or the champion, depending on how their consolation game tonight goes against Tullahoma. So, and you would think that they're going to be going in with a chip on their shoulder because they're not playing that game out in Rutherville.
Yeah,
so
there's no question. Yeah. All right, finally, a rookie wins the Daytona 500. This has been happening a lot lately. We keep talking about guys like Martin Truex Jr., who's been waiting 17 years and has never won it, and all these people who, all these long droughts, and then boom, Austin Cindric gets the win yesterday, barely beating out Bubba Wallace, which that entire last lap was just fantastic. I don't know that I've ever seen a better final stage than that one. It was exactly what I expected. I told you I woke up from that nap, saw the final stage, and it was worth it. It was worth it.
There you go.
Perfect.
Love
Sunday.
it when a plan comes together. Huh?
A perfect Sunday evening. Led off by Austin Cindric. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Bubba Wallace for finishing second and running his tail off with no help, by the way. The closest Toyota was Kyle Busch, and he was like 4 spots back. Nobody near him on his team.
Can't drive, though.
That's what they say. Yep. Anyway, that's been Reaction Monday. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. We are going to be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We will talk a little bit about the XFL because there was some news today come out about the XFL and the NFL and a partnership that they are going to have together. So
imagine that.
Well, yeah. So yeah, we'll get into that. We'll have some great guests. We'll have Chip Walters as always. So come back tomorrow again, 2:00 right here on Main Street Sports Today. For JP and Mo, I'm Chris Yousing. Have a great day, and we'll see you then.